Hamnet may be the most devastating historical novel of the decade. Maggie O'Farrell turns Shakespearean footnotes into visceral, unforgettable life. Immersive world building. This novel resurrects Shakespeare's family with tactile immediacy. Maggie O'Farrell places us in plague-stricken Stratford, alive with market smells and church bells. Her omniscient voice drifts through alleys, orchards, and cramped rooms like summer wind. Every detail feels sensory, yet never clogs the pace. The result is atmosphere that lingers long after turning pages. O'Farrell also refuses Tudor cliché. No roughs or soliloquies intrude. Daily labour dominates. We meet glovemakers, herbalists, ploughboys, and midwives in restless motion. Historical jargon stays minimal, inviting modern readers instead of instructing them. It is world building that trusts emotion over trivia. By embracing the ordinary, the book makes grief extraordinary. That guiding choice underpins every later payoff. Sound design matters. We hear goats bleating, ink scratching, and wind rattling shutters. These noises create a backdrop more vivid than many film sets. I found myself smelling damp wool between chapters. World immersion this deep is rare and worth savouring. Notice how seasons cycle through the plot like a silent chorus. Spring promises renewal, but autumn ultimately frames the devastating climax. Layered characters. Agnes, the mother, steals the narrative crown. She reads heartbeats like runes, yet cannot shield her son from fate. O'Farrell renders Agnes as mystic, farmer, rebel, and tender realist at once. Her contradictions feel human rather than invented quirks. The absent yet magnetic husband, never named Shakespeare, hums beneath every scene. He appears in brief flashes, always distant, always working language in his head. That restraint prevents easy hero worship. O'Farrell understands that genius often costs domestic presence. Hamnet himself emerges curious, compassionate, forever shadowed by his twin sister Judith. Their tender games heighten the looming tragedy without cheap foreshadowing. Even minor players show agency, like the Latin tutor who envies Stratford starlings. Collectively, the cast vibrates with interlocking hopes that converge at loss. Sibling dynamics particularly shine. Judith's fragility contrasts with Hamnet's curiosity, creating tension without melodrama. Their secret codes and daring escapes feel authentic to childhood. When illness strikes, that playful foundation makes sorrow unbearable yet truthful. The marriage also invites debate. Some critics see imbalance, while others laud its portrait of collaborative sacrifice. Artful structure and symbolism. Grief drives the book, but craft supplies the engine. O'Farrell structures chapters like pulses, quick present moments offset by reflective past scenes. That rhythm mirrors breathing, which grief threatens to halt. An almost thriller-like countdown frames Hamnet's illness across ticking hours. Meanwhile, a flea's voyage from Alexandria to Stratford spans a single brilliant chapter. The perspective leaps from merchants to cabin boys to infected cloth. Such daring POV shifts risk chaos, yet coherence holds because emotion anchors action. Imagery recurs. Hawks, knots, and apples echo family bonds and severances. O'Farrell's sentences blend muscular verbs with lyrical restraint. She avoids Elizabethan pastiche, keeping diction contemporary, yet not anachronistic. That balance allows modern grief to converse with historical setting. The novel ends symphonic, weaving personal mourning into the birth of Hamlet. The novel also meditates on names and their power. Hamnet and Hamlet were interchangeable spellings, a historical quirk O'Farrell weaponizes. By foregrounding that slippage, she blurs son and character, life and art. Thematic resonance amplifies without heavy-handed lectures. Music underscores several scenes, especially Agnes counting beats by tapping her wrist. Those rhythms parallel Shakespeare's eventual iambic pentameter, an elegant, implicit connection. Why it matters now. Hamnet earns its awards, and then some. I finished breathless, as if grief had remade oxygen. This is historical fiction that refuses costume drama safety. It interrogates art's cost, maternal intuition, and the randomness of pandemic loss. Reading during our own viral era, I felt uncanny recognition. Yet the novel gifts more solace than despair. O'Farrell suggests stories survive because humans must. Shakespeare's future masterpiece becomes a son reaching back to comfort his mother. That reversal reframes canonical literature as raw coping mechanism. After closing the book, the smell of apples lingered in my room for hours. Few novels physicalize memory so potently. Hamnet deserves space on every shelf where history meets heartbeat. I rarely reread immediately, yet this book compelled a second pass. Subtext emerged like hidden ink when revisited. Discussion groups will find endless angles, from gender politics to animal symbolism. Hamnet is not just a read, it is an experience demanding community. Teachers could pair the novel with Hamlet for a cross-genre exploration of grief. The conversation would illuminate how art recycles sorrow into shared meaning. Check out my full article for deeper analysis, historical context, and more favorite passages.